Welcome back to building a house in Minecraft every day for 30 days. Today we're on day 19, and this house was actually going to be a fisherman's house. I'm not sure if I accomplished that goal of making a fisherman's house. This is the reference I use right here, and I used some inspiration from the roof and the walls and the windows and some of the layout to make this house. And I'm using mushroom stems for the walls. Tried to do this little arch in the window, or not arch in the window, the door, and I'm not sure if I really did it that well. And you'll see kind of what I do for the roof design and the walls later on. But right now I'm just trying to get that arch right in the front, and I do like how it came out. It's a little bit different from what the reference did, but it's really hard to sometimes get an arch that looks good without stairs and also matching the right block palette for the texture. So now I'm going around with the stripped logs and actually sponge and mushroom stems to make the foundation of this house and the walls and the wall supports. And then I'm also going to build up more for the second layer of the roof, for the part of the roof, and adding in these little parts of polished tuff to add in these like parts for where tiles would be, not tiles, but like little parts of brick in there to break, and that helps break up the texture. Now I'm trying to figure out what I wanted to do for the windows with something that looks good and still somewhat uniform, because if you've watched enough of these videos, you can tell that I am a very symmetrical type builder. I don't like to build too asymmetrically or too much off of that grid of symmetry. I like things to be pretty close on the same level and not too random. Which I don't know if that's to a fault of mine or that's just kind of my build style, but that's arguable in both ways. So right now I'm just trying to figure out a roof, or not roof, what I'm trying to figure out is a window that I liked, and I settled on this window that has a kind of curve look to it with the fence posts and using the stairs, and then using the copper for the actual window, and that the copper trap doors for the actual window, and it, I think, makes it really nice and adds this nice texture as well with color, so it's not just so plain. And I really do like how this came out. This house is a lot different, very similar shape to the first house we did in the actually day one of this series, so go back and check that out if you haven't. I'll leave a card and mutation. And yeah, so right now I'm trying to get the roof looking in some way I like it, and just figuring out how I want to do this roof. And this is where I'm thinking it's similar to the first house we did, because the first house we did, the roof was also curved like this, and we're staying with that copper style, some orange in the roof. And I'll show you the reference right here, because the reference also had orange. I think I really stuck to that orange really well. I think the copper worked perfectly for this. I realized also later on that I didn't use waxed copper, which sucked, so I had to actually go back and replace all the wax stairs, but you'll see that a little bit later on when I actually start seeing some of the copper stairs oxidize. But yeah, that was fun on my part, and I think there was actually one that got left over in the end of this replay, so if that bugs you, I'm sorry. But I'm just trying to figure out that arch of getting the right look that looks good for that roof. And then I'm figuring out what kind of window I want to do on this back side of the house, because on the front side we have more or less space because of how it's set up, but on this back side we have more space because we can have the window here on the front. We have the roof for that front place where the entrance would be. So this is what I came up with. We're pretty much going to do a window just like we do on the sides there on all the other ones, but also adding in another little design for the side ones. And then I guess I do have room on the top. Scratch what I said. I guess I was wrong. I don't know my own build. I built it earlier today, so excuse me for being a little bit wrong. But I do like how that came out. I really like the windows. They look really good in my opinion. Some of the best windows that I've built recently. And then you can see how that oxidized. So I was like, oh, I gotta go change this. I had to replace all of them and make sure all of those were replaced so they don't oxidize and look worse later on when I go back and look at the build. And then we're figuring out what we want to add here. At first I was going to add like a balcony out on the edge here, something to, you know, walk out and look out at the sky and fireworks and whatever else your neighbors are doing. I scrapped that idea and I actually decided to go for the classic Minecraft decoration where you add in a little bit of a garden bed, and I added some moss with trap doors because that looks really good when you're doing a garden based design for a garden bed that's floating. And then I messed around with different types of flowers and different types of gardening type blocks, so flowers and saplings and stuff like that. And I do this actually on both sides, so we're moving on to the other side and doing the same type of thing, oak trap doors and those spruce slabs, some different gardening plants in the game that I used on the other side, and it's different. And then that's the main part of the build. I go around just to give it some more breaking up the texture and support there, but that's about the end of the build. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Bye.